good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome and thank you so very much for being here with us. I'm Kim Serafini, your host and a positive prime leader, a guide. I am absolutely delighted to be here. It is an honor, privilege, and pleasure. And whilst we wait for everybody else to join us, we're going to enjoy a little bit of viewing a positive prime session. And so let's just take some nice big deep breaths in and allow this to be. Hey? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome and thank you so very much for being with us. It is an honor, privilege, and pleasure, and we are so excited. So excited. What we have in store for you right now is special, precious, amazing. I actually think it's pretty awe-inspiring. It's awesome. It's awe-inspiring. And so let me start by getting you all to take a nice big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Settle in, settle down, get ready. This is a truly delightful opportunity for you. You're here, I would imagine, if you actually want to experience real freedom. And I mean the kind of freedom that allows you to put your head down on your pillow at night, knowing you're safe and protected, you're healthy, your immune system is robust, that you have extraordinary opportunities to take advantage of, and you are perfectly positioned to flourish and to thrive, making an amazing contribution with your gifts, your talents, your skills, and it's all deliciously fun. You're feeling very playful about life, lighthearted, you're in control, you have more than enough money in your bank account, and you have really rich relationships that are so wonderful. You savor these precious moments of connection where there's genuine and sincere caring, kindness, thoughtful consideration, and you are literally feeling like anything is possible, everything is possible, and it's more than likely probable. Okay, so are you there yet? 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 I have spoken to thousands of people over the last couple of decades, either as a therapist, a counselor, a coach, a guide, a healer, a consultant. And what I've discovered is that there are an enormous number of people, maybe you as well, who actually have the motivation and the desire to take yourself to the next level, and or indeed the level beyond that, and maybe as far as you can possibly go, so that you actually have your dreams, your wishes, your desires, your goals become reality for you sooner rather than later, and that you actually get to smell the roses along on that journey, right? And so what's fascinating to me is that it's very rare, almost, I would say, kind of ridiculous to assume that any one of us will be able to experience the magnitude of that magnificence without some support, some guidance, some encouragement, some cheerleaders, some coaches, some mentors, some wise ones, some people who have some brilliance that will guide us and allow us to get there faster and allow us to have a little dance along the way. Right? Do you agree? Now, what I've also discovered is that very, very few people, maybe you too, it was definitely me, have enough confidence in making a decision that if they choose this particular coach or healer or guide or counselor, that they will have the answers or the solutions that they need. And so what happens is that most people, frozen in fear and fighting for their lives, actually their dream life, they actually resist temptation. They stop themselves. They create all of this drama in their heads. They have a billion excuses and they don't take the leap because they're not sure that they're actually going to have parachutes that are going to save them on their way off the edge. So the interesting thing is we've come up with a brilliant, exquisite, and very elegant collection of ideas for you. We've been co-creating and collaborating. We've been connecting. We've been connecting into each other's offerings. So if you're here and you want to make your life so much better and brighter, and you want to be really comfortable and confident about that, and you want to feel competent, then I'm going to suggest to you that it's not an either or world. You get to have a plus, 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 and moment right now. You can have me coaching you, and you can have a whole host of my great friends who are all very successful. They've actually been a little like me, and they've gone off and done either the Anthony Robbins high-level programs, his life mastery program, or they've done that with Dr. Joe Dispenza or Deepak Chopra or Brendan Burchard, and I could go on and on and on. And some of these people have decades of experience and expertise in neurolinguistic programming, in hypnosis, in energy healing, in all sorts of spiritual modalities, all sorts of more scientific modalities. Some of us are psychologists, some of us are registered therapists, some of us are counselors. All of us have an intention to help you. And we're actually really well aware of the fact that we're all really busy. We're really busy. We're really busy. And we don't have inexhaustible funds to go on this grand journey all around the world and do all of these high-level programs with a whole bunch of different people so that we can get some different perspectives, so we can have those breakthroughs. And so guess what we've done? We've come together for you. And we're going to give you a little taste over the next couple of minutes of what it's going to be like to have more than 50 of us coach you, mentor you, guide you, give you really valuable suggestions and tips and hints, some great answers, some provocative questions, kinds of little triggers and stimuli, maybe the reminders that help you to feel like freedom is actually going to be your reality sooner rather than later. And we're going to do it in 3-minute little coaching videos, 365 of them. So each of these 50 plus experts, authorities, therapists, teachers, healers, guides, we're all going to give you at least 5 powerful, really profound, potent lessons that I think you're going to have yourself, quite frankly, in this state of, I am so blessed, so fortunate, and so lucky. I'm here now with these group of people. So without further ado, let us give you some examples. You ready? You might want a pen and a piece of paper for this, because this is some of the best summarized, short, sharp, concise, succinct advice perhaps you will have ever heard. And definitely as a collection, the value is unthinkable. And yet we've actually made sure that it's accessible and we're approachable and it is available to you now. Alrighty, so I've asked all of these really great positive prime leaders and guides to tell me, and therefore you, what is one of the greatest, most delicious morsels of genius that has ever been shared with you that you've actually applied in your life that has enabled you and facilitated you. So what they're doing is actually answering to that call. Let's just say one of the best pieces of genius ever been shared with me is, I'd like you to all right now smile. Smile. Think of something that makes you really feel joyful. Smile. A big, broad smile. Keep that smile there and turn the volume up, intensify it. Feel the joy, the cheerfulness. Feel yourself. Give yourself permission. Allow yourself to smile. And right now, messages are being received inside your brain. And those messages are actually being sent to your endocrine system. And hormonally, you're starting to produce more serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin and other neurotransmitters that are making your brain absolutely fantastic and fire in spectacular ways. Creativity is actually getting a boost. Decision-making abilities is actually also getting a nice tune-up. The more you're smiling. Are you still smiling? Make sure that it's genuine and sincere. Try to actually bring yourself down into your heart. Imagine your heart glowing and smile. Some of the best suggestions or advice that I've ever been given come down to smiling. Smile before you pick up the phone. Smile when you think about what is the result, what is the outcome that you want for somebody else to have as an experience of interacting with you. Do you want them to be happier? Do you want them to feel like they've got a smile in their heart? Do you want to uplift them? Do you want to help them to understand that life is beautiful and they are too? Smile. And what happens is that when you smile at them, their mirror neurons in their brain, they're actually being accessed via the retina in their eyes. They're seeing your smile. And guess what's happening? Even if they're not feeling super happy right now, seeing your smile is actually causing their mirror neurons in their brain to send messages to their body, and their endocrine system is now producing those more delicious and beneficial, advantageous hormones. Smile. Smile before you do anything. Smile at thinking about the difference, the really positive difference you're making in other people's lives. Just smile. Smile at yourself now. Take a nice big deep breath in. Did I just give you a piece of advice inside 3 minutes that you think was valuable? If the answer is yes, in the chat, let me know. Is it yes? Nod if that was yes. If that was actually helpful, you think you can apply that, and I gave it to you inside 3 minutes, let me know yes. Alrighty. So seatbelts on, get ready. I'm going to hand it over to some of my friends, and inside 3 minutes, they're going to give you great pieces of advice or suggestions or some activities or exercises for you to do that are going to be incredible. So away you go. Let me hand it over to Rich Oseguera.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, so get out of your head. Have you ever heard that? Has someone ever said that to you, or maybe you said it to yourself? I'm Rich Oseguera. I'm the founder of the Visibility Media Institute, and I work with amazing visionary change makers to help them learn how to present a powerful presence on camera and on stage. And the reason I do that is because, well, in around 2003, I had convinced my bosses in New York City to pay for a trip to send me to San Francisco, where I would present how amazing our company was at this big conference. And they're a small business, so they really took a risk. when the time came for me to speak, I got up to the podium and I looked out to the audience and I was overcome with fear. I started shaking so physically and visibly that you could hear my notes rattling in my hand like skeleton bones. I was drenched in sweat and I couldn't speak, and I panicked. And the only thing I knew how to do was run. And I did. I literally ran off the stage. Disastrous. And I was so full of guilt because my bosses, small business owners, they believed that I could go and present our company favorably, and I completely botched it. And then I had to see those same people over and over again for 3 days at that conference. It was the most humiliating thing that's ever happened, I think, to me. And that's also when I realized I need to learn how to get out of my head. I need to learn how to speak and present myself powerfully so that I could do my job. And at that time, I wasn't an entrepreneur yet, so I was spending other people's money or wasting it. And so when you find yourself in that same kind of panic, maybe it's a worrisome conversation you have to have, or a difficult decision to make, or you're about to be put on the spot and asked to present in front of scores of people and you didn't expect that. Notice the chatter that's going on in your brain and stop. Imagine that that chatter is taking you down a well-worn road that leads to no place good. And the minute you know that if you keep going down that road, you're going to end up in a ditch, that's when you stop. Then I want you to drop. And what do I mean? Drop from your head that's not working well for you in that moment and into your heart. Yes, that place of connection, of peace, of protection. Drop into that space where the true essence of who you are lives. And then breathe. What you do in that brief moment of stop, drop, breathe is you disrupt that pattern that isn't working so well for you. If you don't disrupt it, it'll play out to that awful end that you know is not going to serve you. So this is where you get to be in control and use this very basic tool, something so simple that I think everyone should learn this, like in preschool, as young as possible. Stop, drop, and breathe. Mm-hmm. And if you practice that, you'll be astonished at how quickly you'll switch out of that negative space and be in a place where you can choose how you would rather feel or act or respond instead. So thank you very much, Kim, for inviting me to share. I'm Rich Oseguera, and let's hear the next amazing piece of advice.
I absolutely love that. Thank you, Rich. So let Rich know, was that valuable? Was that a great reminder? Was that new to you? And can you apply that, and will you apply that? And would you like to hear more from Rich? Let us know. And I'm going to invite Dee Terrell to the stage because she has this absolutely contagious enthusiasm about her, and I can't wait for you to feel it.
Hello, everyone, you amazing folks out there. My name is Dee Terrell F. Tellers, and I am so happy and grateful to be with you, and welcome to Life Lessons in Under 3 Minutes. So this lesson today is going to be about fitness is no longer a luxury, but it's life-saving. And I know when you hear that word fitness, you think of exercise, and I might as well be saying something like terrible when I say that word. But let me ask you some questions. When I'm talking to you about fitness, I am not saying 6-pack abs. 2 will do just fine. I am not talking about being a brick house, 36, 24, 36, like Betty Boop. I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about is if an unforeseen event happened and you had to actually hoist yourself up and lift yourself onto a boat or get out of a plane or even escape your home, like we had to do just recently in this hurricane, where our basement got totally flooded. The water was rushing in like a linebacker not a linebacker. That is not right. What is that football person? Whoever the man is with the football that run, I guess he's a running back. Well, him, he is running for that touchdown. Well, we were like running for our lives in our home with this water gushing in like crazy. We've never had any flooding in our basement. We've never had or experienced anything like that. And as a result of that, we had to actually get rid of a lot of things, like climbing into the refrigerator. I climbed into a refrigerator upside down to get food out. And the entire time, I was thanking God that I had core fitness, that I had strength to be able to lift things. So we're just going to go through one quick exercise right now to help to develop our strength. And it's going to be easy. So I'd like for you to do it with me. So I would like for you to take both of your hands like this and squeeze, 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 squeeze all of your body, squeeze all of your body and stop. Let it go. And then put your fingertips together. These are working your chest muscles and your arms. And push them together. Push, 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 push. Very good. And this is the absolute last thing. I want you to shake it out. Bounce and shake. And smile, because you did it. You got this. You are the boss of you. You are the boss of your body, and you got it. My name is D. Terrell F. Tellers of Happy Results and Fitness and Goal Achievement, and I'll see you on the next life lesson. Bye-bye.
How much do we love D. Terrell? That was absolutely fantastic and so doable. If you love D. Terrell and you would love to hear more from her, please drop a yes, please, yes, please, yes, please. One of the other little lessons that I've learned on this journey through life is to be polite. So say please when you ask for something. Alrighty, so now we're going to bring on out another really gorgeous soul. Audrey Weedman, are you there?
I am. Thank you so much. I just wanted to start out by saying this quote: comparison is the thief of joy. That was said by Teddy Roosevelt over 120 years ago, and it rings true today. You see, when you compare yourself to others, what you are doing is inviting feelings of I am not enough in, and that is not where you want to be. I'm Audrey Weedman. I'm a stress transformation coach, and I became one because I needed it for myself. You see, in late 2016, I was doing yard work and I was chopping things down. All of a sudden, I became very dizzy. And in the coming 2 days, what I felt was this chest pain that I thought was due to muscles working in the garden or a yoga class that I had taken earlier. But I found out during my regularly scheduled checkup that I had had a heart attack. And this was devastating for so many reasons, but mostly because I was a health coach. I ate right, I played tennis, I did yoga. This was not supposed to happen to me. But after some reflection, what I realized is the only thing I did not take care of was what was going on between the ears. Once I realized that, I went on a new path and was determined to get my stress under control. And I have a number of certifications, and now I'm happy to say that most of the time, I'm the boss of my own brain. Not all the time, but most of the time. And you know, and I know that the other pandemic that is rampant right now is stress. And so I want to share what I have learned with you. And what I'd like to share is this one tip that is very profound. I would like you to write down in a journal or on your phone 5 tips or five things that you love about yourself. And every day they have to be something else. They can be little, they can be small, but you are amazing. There are so many wonderful things about you. You need to write them down and catalog them, because what you're doing is you're firing and wiring new neural connections that will start to override all that negative self-talk that you and I had. And you are building that positivity muscle about yourself, your self-love. And what I wanted to end with is that I believe in a higher power. I also believe that God does not make mistakes. You are amazing. You are unique. There's no one like you. You are a rock star. And so what I'd like you to do is practice the simple thing of cultivating self-love. And I think you will be off to a great start. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Audrey. It is so beautiful for you to join us from Chicago right now. And for those of you who love Audrey, just let her know, do you think that you can do that? Will you do that? We'll say yes, please do that. How about we start right now? Because one of the other greatest tips is start right now. Get going right now. Write down 5 little things, put them in the chat. What do you love about yourself? And think about this. As you write that, you're going to inspire somebody else, and somebody else is going to go, yeah, I'm a little like that. And actually, you know what? I could love myself a little more for that. Awesome. Hey, absolutely awesome. Alrighty. So I don't want to rush on and introduce our next amazing guide, another positive prime leader, until you've all written into the chat a couple of things that you absolutely love about yourself. I love that I'm Australian. Am I allowed to say that? Even though I grew up in Papua New Guinea on the equator, so I've really got equatorial DNA. Paradise is in my cells. I would quite like to be in paradise right now. No, actually, do you know what? Paradise is here right now. This is heaven on earth. I love it. People love that they have courage. They love it that they're open and evolving. I love this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Audrey, let's all be the boss of our brains. And now I'm going to hand it over and hang up my shingle right now for Christine Tiley, who absolutely is one of the most exquisite human beings I have ever met. So Christine, come on out. Let's take the stage. I absolutely love that you're here. Mwah.
Hello, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much, Kim. Hello, everyone. I am Christine Tiley from Direct Sales Inspiration, and I today would like to talk to you about the power of positive reach outs to build your social capital. Now, I loved the teachings of Professor Christopher Peterson, who was a giant in the world of positive psychology. And his pioneering work showed us that happiness comes from social relationships and kindness to others. And I just love that philosophy. One of the bright stars in the positive psychology field world now, Michelle Gielan, really built on that. And she really believes that social capital is our greatest asset. And one of the key pillars that I've built my $20 million global business on is using that philosophy of kindness and building happiness as the foundation for my business, using positive reach outs. And the way that I've done that is a variety of different methods. So some days I might do a bunch of emails or text messages. Other days I'll make a few phone calls or have some coffee meetups with friends and connections. And one of the big pillars that I've used is I always have cards and special occasion cards handy to send out as special things happen in people's lives, like a birthday or a birth or an engagement or a wedding, any sort of special occasion. I've always got the cards there ready to go. And I've been doing this for the last 15 years, probably a little bit longer than that, actually, whilst I've been building my business. And there's been a couple of occasions along the way that have really helped me to understand the value of these positive reach outs. One of those was I sent an engagement card to a customer that I was connected with on social media, and I saw that she got engaged. So I popped an engagement card in the mail. A few days later, I got a call from this lady with so much gratitude, because only 3 people had actually gone to the extent of giving her a card: her mother, her mother-in-law, and me. And to this day, this is now nearly 15 years later, we are still connected. She's still one of my best customers, and she has referred so many people to me. And that is the power of building these positive relationships. Another example, I sent a congratulations note, just a nice little letter, talking to a team member about how amazing I thought they were and explaining why. And a couple of years later, after I'd sent that card, I visited this person in their home, and I saw that card framed in this lady's house, placed in a position of pride and joy where she would see it every day. And that really touched my heart, that these positive reach outs had made such a difference to somebody's life. And this lady is now one of the top performers in my entire business. And she credits the positive reach outs along the way for building her up to that point. So stories like that are numerous throughout my career, and has reinforced to me the power of building my business on kindness and positive reach outs. There's other ways you can do it as well. Random gifts, unexpected, could be as simple as taking donuts into work. Shows people that you care and builds that foundation and that relationship. And I like to really focus on my communication during these positive reach outs by starting with a power lead. And that's also a coin termed by Michelle Geelan. And a power lead is basically a positive, optimistic, or inspiring start to communication, which may seem a little overwhelming, but it could be as simple as starting the conversation with, "It's a wonderful day, isn't it?" It just sets a positive tone and pushes the communication into a more high performance zone. So I would love to encourage all of you to think about dedicating just 15 minutes of your day to positively connecting with people, because the more connections that we have, the stronger the relationship will be, and the more positive those connections are, the better. I focus a lot of mine on praise, which sets a really positive tone. And also, the more you help other people, the brighter you will both shine. So always keep that in mind with your positive reach outs as well. So very best wishes for connecting with your networks and building those wonderful relationships.
I absolutely love that advice. What great suggestions, Christine. And I know, because I have actually heard you share a lot more of your advice, you've got a mountain of marvelous messages just like that. So if you want to hear a lot more, everybody who's listening, from Christine Tiley, please, will you write in the chat and let her know that you absolutely would love at least 5 great 3-minute videos to watch where she's giving just as much of those precious gems to all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All righty. So from where Christine is in New South Wales, Australia, to where Gunther is in the United States of America. Come on out, Gunther. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to hear what you've got to say.
Hey, Kim, thanks for having me here today. What I have to say to everyone on the conference today is that you are not broken and there is nothing to fix. Let me say that one more time. You are not broken and there is nothing to fix. Look, the human condition is very simple. And again, my name is Gunther Mueller. I'm with Dream Life Masters. And what I do is I help people to create the life that they love, meaning more money, more love, more health. And here's how you do it. You need to get out of the problem-solving reality. When you focus on a problem, guess what grows? The thing that you are focused on. And so we have to back out of the problem-solving reality. And this takes a little bit of time because our entire lifetime we have been taught to solve problems. This is in our goal setting mentality. We choose something that we want. We already predetermine how we're going to get it. We put a date on it. And then sometimes the date passes, we don't get what we want, and we feel what? Anxious, depressed, that we're not good enough, things like that. So when we back out of the actual problem-solving reality and we leave a little bit of space open so that the universe can bring you what you would want in a myriad of different ways, we allow that field of infinite possibilities to show up for us. So we step out of the problem-solving reality and we only focus on that which we would truly love. And this is another skill that we have to learn, is we need to choose from a place of what we would love to experience. Many of us choose by consensus, meaning what do our friends and relatives and family, what are they going to approve of? Some of us choose by the process of elimination. And that means you might have 5 crappy choices and you choose the least crappiest of the 5 choices. That's not a good way to choose. So what I'm here to suggest is we need to choose from a place of what it is we would just love to experience, something that we would want just because we want it for no other reason. We don't have to rationalize it. We don't have to tell a story about it. We don't have to explain it to anyone. We don't have to reason. I want you to think about something right now that you would just love to create for no other reason than you would love to experience it. And when you put your focus on that, and you practice putting your focus only on that and not putting your energy in the problem-solving reality and focusing on what you don't want, you will see that the current reality that you're experiencing will begin to slowly change. The more focus that you put on what you do want, what you're doing is you're putting energy into that infinite field of possibilities. You're selecting the one possibility that you would love to draw into your active experience, into your current reality. And the more you do that, the more that possibility will be drawn into your present moment. So that's what I have for you today. And in anything, if you want to create the life that you love, focus on what it is that you would love to experience. And you can get a little bit more information on that at dreamlifemasters.com. Thanks for having me here, Kim, today. Look forward to offering more of that in the future.
Woo! Thank you, Gunther. Oh boy, do you know what I love that I immediately dropped in just then and thought about what would I love to experience. And just because I started to think about it, I was almost as if like, yeah, I've already achieved it. Yeah, woo, we've already accomplished it. And I got the feeling in my body, and I know that I've just, quite frankly, activated the circumstances, the situation, the people. Now they're more in alignment and I am accelerating my way there. Such goodness. Who here in the room agrees that what you've heard out of only 5 people so far, 5 people, 5, imagine 50 more where this came from, and imagine hearing a lot more from Gunther. Do you all agree? Just write down, yes, this is practical. Yes, this is relevant. Yes, this is pure goodness. Yes, 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 if you agree that what you've already heard from 5 people is quite astounding. Look at that. Absolutely. Wow. All righty. So without further ado, somebody who is a little like my fairy godmother, I don't know how else to describe it. She's a bundle of joy. She's so effervescent. And that is actually one of the secrets, I believe, to her success over such a long period of time. Come on out, Anita Green.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Anita Green from Coppell, Texas, near Dallas. I've been a personal stylist for men for 40 plus years. I'm also a success and relationship coach for men and for women. And I love what I do. And today I'm going to talk about this like I'm talking to women, but this applies to men too. So ladies, let's just pretend you're about to go to a party that you've been looking forward to for months. You have the most perfect dress you've ever had in your life. It fits you to a T, and you know you look hot. So you walk into that party feeling like a princess. You're on top of the world. You walk a little further into the party and you see a crowd of your friends, and they're all gathered around your friend Suzanne, and they're raving about how Suzanne looks. And that's great because Suzanne does look great and you should be happy for that. But then one of your friends turns around and looks at you and says, "Oh, hi, you look nice." Nice is what you say to your grandmother. None of us want someone to say, you look nice. So let me ask you how you feel after that happens. Are you still on top of the world, feeling like $1,000,000? Probably not. Hopefully you're happy and grateful that Suzanne looks great, and she does, but that probably stole a little bit of your joy. And the reason it did, because nothing changed between the time you walked in the door looking like $1,000,000 and now, except your perception and the story that you chose to write about the incident that happened and someone saying you look nice. Our minds are so incredible. Your thoughts actually control everything in your life. So why wouldn't you want your perceptions to be good perceptions? Comparing yourself to others, I'm sort of piggybacking on a little bit of what Audrey said, but comparing yourself to others is actually losing before you start, because your comparisons aren't even real. It's all about your perception. Then you have like social media and advertisers out there telling you every day that you're not pretty enough, you're not successful enough, you're not talented enough, and your teeth aren't even white enough. But guess what? They have just the right products and self-help books that are going to help you. So what do? You go and you buy the products, nothing gets fixed, and you feel even worse about yourself because it wasn't real to begin with. They cause you, social media causes you to compare your behind the scenes average to everyone else's best highlight reel. It's not even a fair comparison. And the funny thing is, you don't really want anybody else's life. You just see a few snippets of things that they have in their life that you perceive to be better than what you have. And here's the funny thing. They're doing the same thing with you, probably thinking you have things better than them. So none of this is real. What's important is to know that you're wasting so much time every day. The average person wastes 10% of every day comparing themselves to others. That's a lot of wasted time. Instead of focusing on becoming your very best, you were uniquely and divinely designed to be you, not anyone else. And no one on the planet can be a better you than you. So that's pretty powerful to know. So I recommend that we all put our blinders on and focus only on becoming our best without comparing ourselves to others. Only compare where you were yesterday to where you are today. Because as Tony Robbins says, progress equals happiness. Thank you so much.
I love that, Anita. That was absolutely beautiful. Who felt that there was some really quite nice truths? And I mean nice as in soothing and nourishing and delicious and comforting, just beautiful, nice. And we are just about halfway through this beautiful experience. And so thank you, Anita. Dallas is lucky that you are absolutely anchored there. And I know that Pennsylvania is equally as fortunate by having Patty Krummer there. Patty, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. And I love following all these amazing people. Wow, I'm so in sync with all these messages, and I have one of my own. So my name is Patty Krummer, and I have a business called The Mosaic Effect, and it's helping you to realize your unique gifts and talents and bring them to the world, because the world really does need that only unique thing that you've got. So how would you live differently if you believed that the universe was really on your side and that the world had your back? So much of what we do in our lives is dictated by our thoughts, and our thoughts don't fall naturally into that place of, oh, I just know everything will work out. I just believe that. And instead, our fears are somehow the kingpin so often in our lives. They seem to sneak up, and they win. They win over the thoughts of, yes, we could definitely do something different and something better. So I have a question for you. What if you literally do not believe that the world is on your side, and you feed the fear and the anxiety all the time as your point of behavior and your activity? Then what? So if we play the game of opposites, we all know that that is not a winning combination. I played that game for a little while, and then this point drove itself so home to me. I was living in Montana in a bad marriage, a place I didn't want to be. And I was I was so afraid of moving. The unknown was big, huge, and scary, and it kept me gripped for years until finally somebody said this to me. So you want to keep the world that you're owning, because if you keep that world, that's what you'll keep getting. But if you trust that the world will take care of you, then go. And I did. It took me about 6 months. So I played that lesson out of my own life, and I have never looked back. I have a little piece of research for you because I'm also a librarian. And the University of Pennsylvania Department of Psychology did a study with 29 patients, and they had them for 10 days write down their fears and their anxieties that they were living through. And then they had them go for 30 days to see how many of those fears and anxieties actually played out in their lives. And I bet you know what I'm going to say. 91.4% of the fears and anxieties of all the people did not come to pass. And for a number of them, 100% of their fears did not come to pass. So if you like a little study, that one really drives home this point. One more thing is that when we live in fear, that can become our greatest and strongest reality. And we forget that they're not the same thing, that there can be any other reality that we choose to create and that we choose to fuel. So if we trust more and worry less, we get the difference between the fear and the reality that ultimately takes us in the direction that we really do want. So a couple of tips that you can apply before I call this an ended moment is sometimes you do need to allow your fears to live a little bit in the space where you are. What you don't want to do is feed them. So allow your fears and keep on going. The other thing is imagine that your anxiety and your excitement are not that different emotionally. So if you can, every time you feel anxiety, say, what if I decided to call this out as excitement instead? How could that help you to propel yourself forward? And then the last thing is consider where your worry is coming from. Sometimes if you can source your worry, it can vanish so quickly, and it may not be that difficult to do if you just give yourself a little time, a little space. And what I'm going to go back to is Dee Terrell and think about just freeing my mind to a happy moment. And I think I could probably get rid of a little bit of fear. So thank you very much. And next time you imagine that the world is a little bit tough and it's not on your side, imagine this moment and I'm on yours. Thank you.
Yay, Patty, that was absolutely fantastic, beautiful, and so necessary for so many people to hear right now. And that is actually one of the lovely aspects of what we're doing here. So let me hand it over to one of our great friends, Nadine Hanshaw, and she can also help us to drop in to some of the knowings that bring about this incredible sense of peace inside our bodies and our minds, particularly for us, so that we can, quite frankly, flourish and thrive and be comfortable enjoying this precious life that we have.
Hello, my name is Nadine Hanchar, and I am a counselor and a consultant. And I've been in the personal and professional development world for over 30 years. And I used to teach about energy and vibrations and things like that before it was popular, before anybody would actually use the word energy or vibration. And all of us have within us this incredible ability, this innate ability, this GPS system, whatever you want to call it. And it resides within our heart. And I call it heart consciousness. And heart consciousness is that intuitive place. It's the place where we connect with our higher power. It's the place where we can go to ask questions. And I want you to think of a time. Everyone I've ever met has had some intuitive experience. So I want you to think of a time when you've had a hunch or a feeling or an insight to do something and you talked yourself out of it. And then you regretted it. I'm sure we've all done that. Anyway, or think about a time when you've been in the shower or driving your car, or perhaps you're doing the dishes and you have an amazing insight or an idea, or you get this solution to something you've been working on. Just think about that for a moment. Well, why does that happen? It happens because you were in a receptive state of mind. And intuition comes to you when you're in a receptive state of mind. And you can actually create that for yourself. And that's one of the things that I'd like to teach you today, because when you tune into this incredible innate system that you have inside of yourself, this intuitive heart consciousness place, you begin to feel more comfortable in your own body. Your fears and your stresses reduce. You begin to, have those solutions come to you. You're more in flow. You're more magnetic. All of these things can happen. And so what I'd like you to do with me today is a little exercise. And one of the things that I'm going to have you do, everybody's been talking about this, but your heart is a place where you really need to connect with. So I want you to put your hands on your heart. And then I want you to take a deep breath in, and I want you to blow out like you're blowing out candles. Okay, deep breath in. One more time. And now we're going to do something that I had someone else did already today. And that is, I want you to go, ah. And notice that when you do that, you come more into your heart. And now when you're in your heart space, you can ask a question. And if you're just new to this, then ask a question that gets a yes or no answer. But as you develop this, you can actually ask any question and then just let it go and be in a receptive state of mind. And just notice what comes to mind. Notice what happens when you do that. And you will find that your internal guidance system, your wisdom that's connected to your heart intelligence and to your higher power and to the divine source energy, this will guide you in your life. And if you practice this daily, I do it with my decisions, with even simple things. It doesn't have to be big things. Every day, I challenge you to listen to your heart and to ask your heart, what's your next step? What's your next move? Is this the right decision for you? Thank you very much. My name is Nadine Hanchar. It's been a pleasure.
Nadine, thank you. If you drop into your heart right now and you say, yes, would I like to be able to spend more time with this great group of guides? And the answer is yes. Then check out what we have to offer. But before you do, stay really present here right now. We've heard about that. And listen to the next 3 or 4 people, because I promise you, we are not saving the best till last. Actually, each one of these are the best in and of and by themselves. And you could have 365 of these experiences, 1 per day. Imagine going and seeing 365 different coaches, or 50 or 100 different coaches, and spending quality time with them. How much would your life transform? How much would you feel like you've got this? How much more would you actually really believe in yourself? Would you have more fun? Would you feel like dancing? I think that the answer is yes. I think the answer is absolutely yes. And we're about to talk about what's on offer here for you very soon. All right, so I love it, love it, love it. Let's hand it over to Susie. And if you loved what Nadine just shared with you and you would like to practice asking your heart for the answers, then say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to her. And we will go and listen in now to Susie Vine, all the way down in Southern California.
Hello, and thank you, Kim, and thank you for all of these amazing tools. I have another tip that I will share with you in just a minute. My name is Susie Vine. I'm a stress resolution coach and the host of the Happified podcast. And initially, my business, 3X Less Stress, was focused on turning down the volume on the 3 core aspects of stress, if you fit them into categories being emotional, physical, and environmental. And as I researched and put together tools to support my clients, I was blown away by the insights and the tools, the opportunity to be more empowered in how we show up to stress that was coming out of the field of positive psychology. And so one practice that I love to share with my clients so they can start building it early, as with all practices like yoga and breath work, when we give ourselves time to get comfortable with it, it starts to come as second nature. So when we really need to call on it, we have it at our fingertips. So this practice is called the pause and pivot. And I like to practice it when I'm going through daily life. So if I'm driving on the roads and start to get irritated, or if I'm watching the news and starting to get a bit triggered, whenever you're in a situation where you start to feel your emotions shifting, this is a perfect opportunity to pause. It doesn't have to take any longer, even less than a second. Pause and start asking questions. Get curious. And ask yourself, what are you responding to in this moment? Is it the situation at hand, or are you being influenced by something that happened earlier in your day, or an emotion from an experience even long ago? Because when we don't acknowledge our emotions and give them the opportunity to move through us, they can come back, and usually at inopportune times. So as you begin this practice of the pause and you get curious about why you're responding the way you are and what you're responding to, you can even grow this to include someone else who's in the situation with you, this other driver on the road. Are they present in this moment, or perhaps are they being influenced by another experience, by another emotion? When we start to ask these questions, we start to move ourselves out of that reactive response of stress, and we have power then to control the outcome. We can move ourselves into a more thoughtful and empowered state as we choose to pivot. And as we recognize the emotion that has come up, because as I said, you can't just wash over the emotions and expect them to resolve. They'll always come back at another time. Then you have the opportunity to decide what emotion you'd like to call in. Decide what outcome you would like to facilitate that is going to be in the highest and best for yourself and for everyone else who is involved. And so, as I said, as you practice this in less demanding situations, you have this skill honed so that if you find yourself in a conversation that is stressful, in an argument or another situation that has you triggered and having trouble finding the peace to respond, when you use the pause and the pivot, you have the power to create an outcome that is better for all parties, and you can resolve those emotions much more quickly rather than trying to clean up later. So I hope this is a practice that you find useful. There's so many that we've shared today, so thank you for taking this in. I'll have to catch the replay to sort these out. Thank you, Kim.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Susie. And how lucky are we to be here right now and feeling the love that is being transferred that will allow us all to transmute anything that no longer serves us so that we can step into an energy that does serve us, that does empower us and does enrich us. Do you feel like success is inevitable if you've got Susie and everybody else who's already presented on your team, on your side? If the answer is yes, absolutely yes, join us. Join us, join us, join us. But before you do, or maybe in addition to doing so, let's hear from Brett D. Scott.
G'day. Brett D. Scott here from Supercharged Freedom, as you can see with the logo behind me. Thank you so much for joining me I was really thinking about what am I actually going to share in this 3 minutes, and I actually have a timer going so I can make sure I stay on time for everyone. Now, if you do know me, and some of you do know me, you might know me as Superman. You might know me as my version of Superman. And I've got to tell you, it wasn't always like that. You know, and I'd like to ask you a question. Who here can tell me that they have been stuck in life, that they have been fearful of moving forward, or that they have self-sabotaged? Who here, can I see a show of hands? Pretty much everyone. Pretty much everyone. Not a surprise, but I'm glad I'm in the right room. And the reason I asked that question is I remember at a point in my life, and certainly I felt an older age, 43 at the time, I finally made a decision for myself that I needed more meaning and I wanted more purpose. And I certainly knew that something was missing. Has anyone had that feeling before? Yep. And so for me, it was a case of realizing that there was a point in life that I kept making the same decision. Now, it might have been different circumstances. And certainly in 2014, I had a situation that caused the demise of my marriage, and we were pregnant at the time, and it's a story for another time. But the point is, we all go through these different situations in life to a certain point where we either have a breakdown or we have a breakthrough. And the great thing about having a breakdown, if you make a decision you're going to move forward, you actually do have a breakthrough. Now, what I want to share with you is that it took me another 4 years to finally have my proper breakthrough. And what I'd love to share with you is kind of the area of where I think it's going to help you make a decision for yourself. And actually on that word, decision making, I'm going to share an idea with you that I think is going to be really helpful. So we've heard already some people talking about focus on positivity. And do you understand that we live here in a world of duality? As in we have positive and negativity. Well, that's in polarity, I guess. We can't have one without the other. So you can't have a left without a right, can't have an inside without an outside, can't have an up without a down. And I really like that idea because as we've already heard, what we can do when we actually get locked into the things that aren't working, locked into the reasons why things haven't actually been going our way, we start to go on that negative spiral downwards, and therefore we don't actually get what we'd love to go after. So what I want you to be thinking about is when you get to the point where you know that you need more meaning in your life, or you actually want to find your purpose, what I'm going to get you to do is make a decision for yourself that you're actually going to make a committed decision. You see, that was one of the big things for me. And I remember reading, I don't know if any of you have read this little book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In this book, he interviewed well over 500 of the most successful people in the world back in that time, which is the early 1900s. And this one thing stuck out in my mind, and that was that he said the only thing, and literally the only thing that they could all agree upon is they all made very quick decisions and they changed their minds slowly, if at all. And what he discovered with people who didn't have the same success is they would take a long time to make up their mind. In fact, some of them wouldn't even make a decision. However, if they did make a decision, they would change their mind frequently all the time. And when I first really connected with that, I realized I was the latter. And so I realized I had to make a decision, funny enough, had to make a decision to actually learn how to make that decision without fearing it. And I realized fear was the thing that was stopping me, fear of failure. So what I want you to be thinking about when you actually make the decision that you're actually going to find more meaning, discover your purpose, you're actually going to make a better decision, as in you're going to make a committed decision. And so the best way to do that is to make the decision, and we've already heard about some people talking about intuition. And so one of those things is we all have perfect intuition. It's just that it's not as strong as some other people might have, because it's just like going to the gym. You got to build that muscle. And so that's what I want you to do is when you feel like this is something that you need to do, make the decision. But when you commit to it, you don't actually change your mind unless you get to a point where you can actually see that this just makes no sense and I've got to do something different. Now, I hope that's helpful. There's so much more that I'm going to share, and I look forward to sharing more with you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Woohoo! Thank you, Brett. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so who here in the room has felt like this has been valuable? Can we have a yes, please? Is this, yes, it's valuable. Yes, I think this is awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Practical, relevant. It helps with I love Anita's. You bet, you bet, you bet. Okay, awesome. All righty. I don't want you to go anywhere because one of the things that you're going to learn is that we are so very generous here at Positive Prime. We are so very generous here at Positive Prime. You will have more than 50 people taking care of you, guiding you, giving you great suggestions that are, quite frankly, phenomenal. Who here agrees that this is phenomenal? Yeah. Now, let's just get down to some truths. If you were to actually go and see each and every one of us, we're all exceptional coaches. We're not the average or normal coach or therapist or guide or counselor. And on average, the normal price for people who aren't world-class and phenomenal like us is probably around about $150 an hour. And so you are actually being invited to come and join us. And instead of paying for 18 and a quarter hours of brilliance, of wisdom, of golden nuggets, of fantastic, valuable, applicable pieces of advice, instead of spending nearly $3,000, you get to spend a tiny fraction of that. And today, we're also going to give you 365 days access to Positive Prime sessions. This is a once only price. It is also a once only payment. You pay $199 upfront right now today, and it's all yours, all yours. And you get everything else that is included in the normal Positive Prime yearly membership, which means you can share this with up to 4 other people. Yes, it's a 5 for the price of 1. Am I being for real? Yes, I'm being for real. You can invite the 4 people you care the most about to come and listen to 365 absolutely precious gems in 3 minutes a day. Like, oh, wow. Yes, you must be an annual member of Positive Prime in order to access this as well. So the good news is if you're already a Positive Prime subscriber and you're already in and you knew that you signed up with an annual membership, you will see in your dashboard coaching as well. Once you've logged in, yes, we're gifting this to you as well. And so if you're on the fence, make sure you go and literally become an annual member of Positive Prime immediately or take advantage, but read more about what's on the page. Now, before we go, I said I wasn't going to leave the best to last, but I will. Jackie Simmons, come on out.
Oh my God, it's my turn. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm Jackie Simmons. And as soon as Kim spotlights me, we'll get started because I want to make sure you can see this. Cool. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for the amazing things that you will do. And if you're not trying to do amazing things in the world, why are you here? So stick around. There may be something amazing that you're going to do that you just don't know you're going to do yet. And here's why you don't know you're going to do amazing things. You don't know the game you're playing. You don't know the ballpark you're in. I'm known for something called the Ballpark Theory, as well as leaving Shouldville. Okay, so leaving Shouldville, how do you stay out of that place you go to when you should on yourself or other people should on you and you buy into it? And that's actually a session on Positive Prime that you can watch. What I want to talk to you about right now is how do you know whose ballpark you're in? How do you know what game you're playing? Well, in this story, you are one of 2 people. You're either the ball player or the club owner. And if you are the club owner, you've got 3 responsibilities. Pay attention, because I did not know this. If it's my ballpark, my job is to put the rules in writing, to know the rules and put them in writing. That's responsibility 1. Responsibility 2, communicate them clearly. Set all of my ball players down and give them a copy of the rules and explain their options. We'll get to that in a minute. And the third responsibility is apply the rules equitably. And your business, you wouldn't have the same expectations of your star salesperson that you do of your janitor. At home, you don't have the same expectation of your 12-year-old that you do of your 2-year-old. I hope. So that's your rules as a club owner. Put your rules in writing, communicate them clearly, apply them equitably. If you're a ball player, it's not your ballpark. You got 3 choices, 3 options. Option 1, accept the rules of the ballpark without conflict. This makes a ball player free to go out and play ball, make money, and have fun. That's option 1. I highly recommend it. Option 2, where I lived most of my life, argue with the rules and create conflict. This brought down the energy of everyone around me, but I didn't know that. I just didn't agree with the rules. I didn't know I wasn't the club owner and it wasn't my ballpark, so there was conflict. If you're a ball player, you have a third option. Are you ready? Get out of the ballpark. Club owners, you need to make sure your ball players know this third option, and you need to make sure they take it. Why? Because in corporate America, my clients are struggling with employees who have taken option 3. They've left the ballpark. They just forgot to take their bodies with them, and they're still collecting paychecks. It's called a disengaged workforce. So if you don't get anything else from me today, please, the first thing to know is ask the question, whose ballpark am I in? Am I the club owner making the rules where I have 3 responsibilities? Or am I the ball player and I've got 3 choices? Play ball, make money, have fun. That means accept the rules without conflict. Argue with the rules and create conflict, or get out of the ballpark. Oh, by the way, if you get out of the ballpark before you've been able to accept the rules without conflict, guess what you're going to do? You're going to take that energy with you to your next ballpark. And you'll be playing the same thing. And if you've ever listened to somebody having the same challenge with this boyfriend, boss, girlfriend, employee, whatever that they had with their last one and the one before, you know that they've been leaving ballparks without getting into option 1 first, where they accept the rules without conflict. And if you're challenged to accept what is, and you're arguing with reality, let's talk. Or just go watch Leaving Shouldville. It'll help. Thank you.
Who loved all of what we've actually been privy to in the last hour and a little bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being with us. I promised you it would be worth your time, and you are more than worthy and deserving. Please say yes, come and join us, allow us to be the people you spend time with. The average of us is undoubtedly going to completely and utterly enrich your life. We're real people with real lives. We've overcome real challenges. We've achieved real success in reality. And we are incredibly committed to sharing the very best with you. And in the process, we're all on this journey together, and we're all improving and growing, and we're expanding, and we're actually also evolving. And we are so excited for who we're becoming, and we are so excited for you, for who you are becoming. All righty. So is there anybody who wants to add anything else really super quickly? I know that most of you have been very patient, waiting to the top of the hour. Maybe you could just tell me what your reaction is to an offer that is only $199 today. Do you think that that could ever be any better than that? No. And 5 for 1? Are you kidding? Alrighty. So who's got something that they would like to say just before we all pop out and on with our lives, and maybe we go watch another Positive Prime session, or maybe we go watch the first coaching video that is available right now on day 1. Okay, it seems like hands up if you have any questions. I love this. This is a classic no-brainer. You're right. It is a classic no-brainer. It's a classic no-brainer. What a deal. What a deal. Yes. And on top of the annual access to Positive Prime, seriously, it's like, wow, isn't it? Wow. All right. Well, we love you very much. Mwah. If you are on a monthly membership, the truth is you're going to need to organize to actually swap over to the annual membership. If you're on a monthly membership right now, you're going to have to organize. So do support@positiveprime.com, and Mayumi and her team will, quite frankly, organize whatever is necessary as quickly as possible, and it will be in your best interests to do so. If you're on a yearly subscription, there's absolutely nothing to do but, quite frankly, open your hearts and minds to receive even more. Don't you love that? We get rewarded in life when we're already in the game. And on that note, love you all. Ciao.